And thanks for coming on this platform, man, because I wanted to have this conversation because I didn't want to wait until LeBron loses the finals and then we had this debate. I wanted to have this debate in good faith because he still
Oh,
got a good
you think he's
chance.
gonna lose? You think LeBron's gonna lose?
Of course he's going to lose. Of course
I
he's
guess we
going
can
to
get to
lose.
that later. I think that if he does lose, I think that I'll have a good reason to back out of this. The coronavirus, this isn't a real season. This is if LeBron wins, I will still concede this is kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, right, win, lose, or draw, whatever. I mean, it's still a weird situation for everybody. But if he's to go like everybody claims he is, he got to seize this moment and get these guys over the promised land. He has to do it.
No doubt. He has the team.
Everybody's under the same rules. He's the number one seed. Well, actually, being number one seed doesn't matter in the bubble because it's a neutral site. So
right. And I was actually wondering, I saw Phoenix had that good run.
Yeah,
I saw the Jazz play really flat. I was wondering if teams weren't actually playing, if they were resting up for this moment. Maybe.
See, what happened was during this whole break, teams were getting healthier. Now teams are starting to catch up with the Lakers because, it was a whole bunch of people hurt. Like, the Clippers had their issues with the load management, and Paul George, he was getting over his shoulder surgery. So now everybody's healthy with the Clippers, and you got those guys that and who else got healthy? Nurkic from Portland.
Yeah.
So he missed a lot of
Portland
time.
could be a problem here in the first round. I don't think anyone's pushing over Portland.
Well, they had a couple scares, but they finally got to it. So, but yeah, tomorrow night I can't wait for game one.
I think that's the whole momentum here of this playoff. It's very strange. It's a weird situation. I also think the other team that got healthy, well, that team that's not getting healthy right now is Westbrook with the Rockets. I mean, catching it at a bad time because their window's closing. So
yeah, they got a small team, and that's not a championship formula. I mean, just to jack up threes and play no defense, and no, that's not a championship level team. So
Giannis is coming in here headbutting people. So now the East is open back up.
Oh, come on, man! But he's the MVP though. He is the MVP. So now you have to make your case why LeBron is the GOAT.
Okay, I have some. I know what the people who say Jordan is the best. I know what they're going to say. They're going to point to the rings. Okay, that's it. I mean, and the rings are nice.
It's not just the rings, though.
Okay, no, we'll start with the rings. We'll start with the rings because I think that's where a lot of people are going to make their case.
Okay, that's just a starting point, but it's not the only point.
No, it's not. I'm just going to start there because we're going to get that out of the way because that's the one that the guy shouts at you across the bar. Okay, that's the one that it's on the back of the T-shirt. It's not a good argument. It's not well-rounded. I equate those rings. It's like winning the Big Ten or the SEC title, going into the championships. It means something. It doesn't mean everything. You should have some. I think we can all agree you should have some titles.
Okay. Okay. If you're gonna go off that standard, okay. Jordan is 6-0. LeBron is 3-6. So
3-6.
right off the bat, he's already a deficit. So I mean, still,
at the age of 31, they had the same amount of titles. At the age of 31, they were tied.
They each had three.
Yeah, they each had 3 at 31. LeBron's got some more years to play.
Okay.
He could get to 6, and being 6-6, incredible with the 8 years in a row streak last year. Throw it out. He should have went to LA.
Okay, Michael had 3 at age 31, so he took a year and a half off, and then once he came back, he did a second three-peat. Now that's kind of unprecedented.
It's very impressive. Okay, I'll give it to him. I mean, we're not talking about Jordan being the 10th best player. We're talking about being the second. But we're talking about LeBron being number 1. So when it comes to titles, you just got to have some, okay? You got to have some. And listen, I'm willing to discuss those titles. What do you think would have happened if you took today's Kevin Durant and put him instead of Jordan on those Bulls team? Do they have 6 titles?
No, because KD, he's not an alpha male like Michael Jordan is. Just to have like a fragile personality like Scottie Pippen and KD on the same team. I mean, they'll be very talented, but as far as being championship level players, I don't think they would have went 6-0 in the
Okay,
finals.
your theory will play out, and I'll concede it if the Clippers don't win this year, because those aren't two alphas.
Kawhi's
Kawhi's
an
not
alpha.
an alpha.
You know what? Okay, if he's not an alpha, he's more of a sigma. He's more of a lone wolf type of guy. So
Yeah, and
but
trust me, I think
he's
his
definitely
playing
not a
style.
beta male. He's not beta,
No,
but
Paul George is.
okay, maybe I may concede that point.
Paul George, he's not an alpha. You have was Patrick Beverly the alpha on that team? Maybe, I don't know.
He's the heart and soul on the team.
I get it, and I think that's why that teams could work. But
right. You need guys like that on your team, though.
Yeah, I think you plug in Kevin Durant on those Bulls, and I think you're probably getting all those championships.
Maybe 4-2, maybe or 3-3. I don't think 6
the Jazz are beating them. You think the Jazz are gonna?
I don't think KD would have beat Utah in 1998 because literally Michael won that series by himself in Game 6. Because Scottie, he was hampered throughout the whole game. Scottie only scored 4 points. And he kept constantly going to the locker room because he had a bad back. So literally, Michael Jordan won that game by himself. I don't think KD would have did that back then.
As a Jazz fan, I would say the Jazz lost it more than Michael won it. But
okay, all right.
I mean, yeah, it took losing that game at home. It was tough.
Right.
The Jazz had him on the ropes.
Right.
I thought that series could have went either way. I watched it closely. I thought there was a couple calls in there I didn't really like. And Karl Malone is not going to go down as a clutch player.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I think he's like a quiet alpha. He needed to be more vocal out there, but what can you do?
Yeah, maybe John was probably like more of the leader more than Karl Malone was.
Yeah, I think playing in Utah and being the type of guys they were, didn't work out.
Karl was just a country boy from Louisiana, and put him in Salt Lake City. I mean, he's just like a big fish in a little pond. So
yeah, I don't think it brought his best qualities out. He didn't have to be too much. He probably stuck out. He's probably the tallest guy in town. Okay, but listen, we'll talk about the rings. Okay, the rings. I'm gonna give him to Jordan. He's got 6. He's got an impressive 6-0. Okay, he didn't go to 8 straight finals like LeBron, but I'm gonna say here's the next. This will transition right into the next part.
Okay.
The teams around these two guys.
Okay. All right.
The teams around these two guys. Number one, Jordan has superior teams around
him. Okay. As far as the first three-peat, his big 3 was him, Scottie, and Horace Grant. Second three-peat.
And a lot of good role players. A lot of good role players.
All right. Him, Scottie, and Dennis Rodman.
I actually I took some notes for you.
Okay.
I brought them in here, and I want to let you know that let's see what I got. Here's a team that LeBron took to the finals. It had Drew Gooden on it.
What year?
Larry Hughes.
It's about the 07 finals?
It was 07, yeah. 06-07 finals with Drew Gooden, Larry Hughes, and Eric Snow.
Hey, don't forget, Ilgauskas was an all-star. He was also on the team.
Okay, Ilgauskas is an all-star, but he's not an all-star. Okay, Ilgauskas.
By the time that they made it to the finals that year in 07, he already been to the all-star game 2 times. So he's a 2-time all-star.
Okay. He's an all-star like we need somebody from the Cavs. Come on, fill in. He's not an all-star.
Yeah. And don't forget, I mean, injuries, suspensions, all that stuff kind of counts when it comes to start from training camp up to the championship. So had the Spurs had like a major injury and Bron would have won, I mean, everybody would have counted that championship. And I mean, and plus it's not like San Antonio was like so overpowering over that Cavs team because those games were pretty close. So
they were
those games were winnable. Cleveland won 50 games that year. I mean, they beat the Detroit Pistons. So if the Pistons would have went to the finals that year, they probably would have took the Spurs to 7. But they beat the Pistons.
Right. They beat. Thank you. You're making my point. LeBron beat them.
Okay, so how come he couldn't beat the Spurs?
Well, I'm going to that's my next point. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's not get ahead of ourselves because I'm going to smooth that right in to the next point.
All right.
So these are the teams that LeBron is taking to the finals.
Okay.
Okay. And if Jordan can do it, as you're saying, I'm talking about the greatest player, okay? We're talking about We're talking about, I'll make this point
the
later on,
the
that
GOAT.
LeBron is going to carry, he's going to lift the entire team. Where
Okay.
Jordan is going to pull these guys. That's how it's going to happen.
Right.
He's just going to jerk them along using his strength.
Two different mentalities, though. Two different mentalities. Yeah.
And LeBron's going to lift them. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'll make that point later. But let's talk about the teams now. If Jordan truly was the greatest, he could have took this great team that went. I'm going to look at it right now. He went with the Wizards. Okay, this is.
You go mention.
Here's LeBron, number 1 seed, best team in the NBA, and here's Jordan with the Wizards. And let's see, his 2 years with the Wizards, he went 37 and 45, and he had good players. He had Rip Hamilton.
Hey, Oni, you are the first person to bring the Wizards into this conversation.
Because everybody forgets. That's why everybody forgets that Jordan played after the Bulls.
All right. I mean, right. But he went to the Wizards just so that it was more of a situation where he was trying to buy the team. So he kind of came back to kind of increase their profile. It really wasn't for basketball reasons.
He was on the floor as a basketball player. Yeah. We're judging the greatest basketball player of all time. We're not talking about, and we can listen. You might have this point 2 or 3 years down the road if LeBron comes up null, and I'll say, hey Rob, guess what? LeBron was going to LA to buy that team, but for you to make that point now, I'm including all the seasons here.
Okay. All right. Okay. So since you're going to include the Wizards now, I mean, even with them at the Wizards, he was age 39 and 40, averaging 20 points a game and still shooting at 50% from the floor.
Yeah, he was only 20 points a game. Now, don't forget, LeBron played longer now. Now we're in, LeBron has played longer than Jordan, and there's been almost no let-off. None. I had it written down here.
Well, since the bubble is definitely been a drop-off, y'all better hope it's not a trend.
I mean, we're talking about the bubble, and I do think you're going to see LeBron step it up because when we talk about clutch later on, I will bring up the fact that LeBron is much more clutch than Jordan, but we'll get into that later also. Okay. I want to talk about LeBron's drop-off. Oh, here we go. Year 1 through 7 for LeBron, he averaged 28 points a game. Years 17 and 18, 27 points a game. That's not Jordan, who was at 25, 32, 35 maybe at one point. Maybe he's higher than that even. And then all the way back down here in LeBron's year, he's all the way back down in 20 points a game, sloughing on this 37 and 45 team, coming in, I think, 5th in the East.
Well, wait, what are you talking about year 18? He's not a year 18 yet.
This is LeBron year 17. This is year 17 for LeBron. Okay. Yeah, so excuse me, yeah. So 17, 18, I don't know how you want to, 16, 17, whatever. Okay, however you want to do it. But LeBron has been steady as a rock. And when you talk about the greatest player of all time, I want to hear the word consistency. That's what I want to hear. And I don't want you to stand up and show off your Derrick Rose jersey. Because if we were talking about 1 year or a couple good years,
Derrick Rose stole the MVP from, huh? Rose stole the MVP for James. I mean, he was the number 1 seed, but unfortunately, they lost in the Eastern Conference Finals that year in 2011, that same year in which LeBron had a meltdown against the Mavericks.
Okay, I'm willing to discuss the Mavericks too. That was the okay. So that's 2011. That's the year the Mavericks won, right?
Yep, 2011. Yep.
All right, that was payback for Mark Cuban launching an FBI investigation against fixing in the NBA. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. It was it 5-6 that LeBron beat the Mavericks?
No, that was D Wade that beat the Mavericks.
It was D Wade. I'm sorry. Yeah. It was D Wade to beat the Mavericks, and they said that D Wade went to the line too many times, and so Mark Cuban he got fined $250,000. He was a new NBA owner at the time. He was kind of like the wild guy. And he launched an FBI investigation into cheating, and I think they were going to blow the lid off of that. And I think they threw one away from LeBron, gave it to Mark Cuban to make him happy. I watched that finals.
I mean, that was a good NBA history on your part, but what's that have to do with LeBron playing like doo-doo throughout the whole series?
Well, I mean, the refs can change the game. They had that guy in there, that Tim Donahue guy, the guy that went to jail and came out and wrote a book, and now he's a millionaire. He said that one guy had a 2-13 record against the Mavericks in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I mean, there was obvious fixing going on. He wasn't the only ref fixing the games. I think a lot of them were. And I think the NBA, I mean, I don't want to say the NBA is crooked, but go back and look at the Patrick Ewing stuff. Go back and look at some of the stuff that's going on. The NBA is, I say it's a little less crooked now. I think it was more crooked then. And I think we're coming.
You talking about the draft lottery?
Yeah.
Ewing, I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot. If you just look up NBA fixing or rigged NBA, you'll waste an afternoon. It's all out there.
Yeah, I'm sure it's stuff going on beyond our imagination. So yeah,
I get. Hey, okay, not just mine. All right,
but
this is like
that has nothing to do with LeBron not playing aggressive. That has nothing to do with him not going to the hole, not wanting to embrace contact to go to the free throw line, because he's been a terrible free throw shooter throughout his whole career.
Yeah, it is.
People get on him about that all the time.
I think he's a good finisher on those, and I think, but yeah, the free throw shooting, he needs to step his game up. I know that's something he was focusing on for a little bit. I don't think he reached those goals. It's amazing how you can improve a 3-point range shooting, but not free throw shooting. So
now between the two, right? Okay, now MJ, he was more like a Russell Westbrook type of player when he was coached by Doug Collins. I mean, he was just like a stat pattern. Then once Phil Jackson got in, he pretty much brought in the triangle offense, in which he brought in a system for everybody to be involved for that ball to touch everybody's hands before they can kind of get like the best shot available for that particular possession. Now in LeBron's case, he's been running the LeBron James system. So unfortunately, that system has only afforded him 3 championships. So what's more better, to like play within a framework of a system or to run the LeBron James system? I mean, what's better?
Well, I'm glad you asked.
Okay.
That was my transition from team. Remember, we went with consistency, then we went with the team, and then we're going to go to coach. Michael Jordan had the benefit of playing with, not even questionably, but the greatest NBA coach of all time.
But Phil wasn't established as the greatest coach of all time when he first got there. I mean, Phil got built up to that point.
Okay. I mean, yes.
Phil grew with Michael.
There's a reason Belichick is considered the greatest. He has Brady, and Brady has Belichick. And I think there's some kind of a symbiosis there between the two of them. I'm sure it helps feed off each other. But LeBron has had 7 coaches in his 17 years, and I looked up the best one.
Okay.
I mean, the best one is Eric Spoelstra, right? Spoelstra?
Eric Spoelstra?
And I don't think he's the top 30 all-time in coaches.
Yeah, probably not.
As I was looking through it, I looked up actually what people considered was the top 10 coaches in NBA history, and they went through Phil Jackson, Pat Riley. You go with the Rudy Tomjanovich, Popovich. You go through these guys. They're all big names. Jordan actually had 2 of them in the top 10 with Doug Collins. A lot of people like Doug Collins.
But Doug never won. Doug number 1 and Phil won with Michael Jordan. So you can't really make that argument.
Phil was around. Only person that won was Phil, and I think that was Rudy Tomjanovich, right, with Houston in between.
Yep.
That might have been him, right?
Yep.
So the other guy won in those 8 years was those 2 coaches, right? But besides that, and then Pop came in and won all around them.
Right.
And so Doug Collins was right there in that second tier. I mean, I would say that.
Right. He's a second tier type coach. Right.
Well, Jordan wasn't going to go play for nobody. I tell you who he wouldn't go play for, someone like Tyronn Lue, all right, who LeBron had to slug through. Now, just to be fair, let you know I'm a fair.
He was handpicked by LeBron, though.
He was, yes.
He was handpicked, yeah.
Right. And that goes to your point. Are you playing for the coach or are you playing for yourself? And now LeBron is the coach. I think he's the closest thing you have to a player coach on the floor right now, which once again speaks to his greatness. That's how
when his teams do good, they say, "Oh, LeBron, he's the best player, coach, GM of the team." But when they're doing bad, "Oh, LeBron needs help." I mean, get the GM to start making phone calls because he needs extra players. I mean, I really don't know what the narrative is. What if he's doing good or bad? I mean,
Well, I tell you what, you thought you would go to LA and you thought LA would be a big pool and you would think you would get the players that you can. And you did get Anthony Davis.
People don't want to play with him. And as far as the way that trade, coming to him, I mean, still to this day, I don't know why the NBA allow him to have his own sports agency. That is some funny business.
The NBA is a lot of funny.
Yeah.
and there's a lot of funny business in the NBA. I mean, and we talk about how did these players change the game. LeBron really changed the game with free agency. He is love it or leave it for the NBA. LeBron changed it.
Okay. Yeah.
He's the one that started all this, we're friends, we're players, get this guy, get that guy.
Right.
I'm taking my talents to South Beach. Personally, as an NBA fan, it's fantastic. It's wonderful. The NFL should do more of it. Every sport should do more of it.
It's so hard to do that with the NFL, though. I mean, because that's more of a GM coaches type of league. But as far as NBA, it's a players league.
Well, and I think it's easier to do in the NBA over any other league because the amount of players.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Right. If you go to Cleveland and get Odell and every other wide receiver from LSU and have them bring in Joe Burrow and have it LSU North, well, you're going to end up with me and you on the offensive line. So you definitely need a GM more in football, but in the NBA, I was hoping that he would, well, we saw they brought in Magic, and Magic did a horrible job.
Yeah, Magic thought that with this charm that he could pretty much get anything he wants, and he thought that he wasn't going to put any work into it. I mean, in order to be a president of like a team, I mean, it's like a 24-hour job. I mean, you have to be invested into it. He didn't have that type of work ethic to be like a president of the Lakers.
I feel like he flicked on ESPN, saw Lonzo Ball on there one time with his dad, and then just drafted him. It was just a horrible decision.
Yeah.
Lonzo hasn't worked out anywhere he's went.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that's why LeBron got rid of him. Okay? So
LeBron got rid of him.
Another great move because Lonzo sucks. And the dad was a virus. LeVar, he was a virus. They got to go. We'll see. If LeBron and the Lakers go out and get LaMelo, I will eat those words.
Ooh. You know what? He may possibly go to Golden State. Maybe. But we'll see.
How it plays out. But as we already determined, the lottery is a little bit rigged. Okay.
Okay.
No. Kyrie going to the Cavs. How did that happen?
Yeah, that was their stimulus package by LeBron leaving them. So, they actually had they had like back-to-back number one picks with Kyrie and Anthony Bennett.
Wiggins. Yeah.
Right, and Wiggins, exactly. Yeah. Now.
No good. Okay, so but we can determine though, indefinitely, Jordan had the luxury of playing with better coaches.
Okay, Jordan has the edge on coaches, but he grew with his coach, so he was a Hall of Fame coach, at least for like those first 3-peat years. He kind of earned his stripes in the second 3-peat years.
And I had a lot going for him too. He was a player coach. He was a guy who played before, and then he comes in as a coach.
Right, he won a chip with the Knicks. He won in the CBA level. So yeah.
Yeah, Well, I mean, Lou, his most famous moment's getting stepped over.
2001.
Right. So a lot of LeBron's coaches they're figureheads. So I would have liked to see LeBron. LeBron should have came into the NBA with a strong figure. You put LeBron with Popovich, maybe we're talking about 10 championships.
He should have went to the Spurs, and maybe Kawhi would have stayed. Yeah,
and maybe Kawhi would have stayed. Because
Yeah.
I don't think Kawhi needs the spotlight, and I don't think he wouldn't mind giving it to LeBron.
Right.
So if you want to talk about LeBron as a GM, I think he did fail like that. But Anthony Davis is a monster. He's a huge star.
He's not an alpha, though.
He is not an alpha. Right. He's not.
Okay. All right.
Not an
Okay.
alpha. I'll give you that. Yeah.
All right.
He's not an alpha. He's actually pretty tame, I thought that's why him and Boogie Cousins would have got along real well in New Orleans, but it didn't really work out like that.
Yeah, Boogie got hurt a lot. Actually, they both got hurt a lot, like during that stretch.
They did. But they were both there in the playoffs. They lost to they ran through Golden State. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
All the big men you want. You're not going to get by Golden State.
Mm-hmm.
But which is interesting, if you want to talk about the Pelicans real quick, they're talking about getting rid of Brandon Ingram, who was an alpha.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, Brandon Ingram's a ball up top guy. He's got the swagger. He thinks it's his team. Because
Okay.
Zion isn't. Zion is not an alpha.
Uh,
Walking around like this.
yeah, you know what, Zion, he is box office, but he need to lose some weight though, because he's gonna have some
Yeah. He's
problems.
exciting to watch. You know, he jumps through the
Yeah,
roof. He
yeah.
didn't look that explosive here in the bubble. But you know, he spent most of the time out of the bubble.
It seemed like he gained weight though.
He did. Yeah, he looks thick. I mean, he's powerful. His game is getting that ball, generating energy, and you know, it's like an explosion at the rim. You know, we'll see. He's still a rookie. I'm not worried about it. John Morant had a great year. I hope he gets rookie of the year and not.
He should. He should. Yeah.
So listen. We're talking about coaching. We're talking about the team. Let's talk about one of everyone's favorite topics: the era in which they played.
Okay. All right.
Okay, the era, right? Because I remember watching Jordan sitting there. You know, I'm a young man, and there's some old guy over there in the corner, and he's like, "Yeah, this Jordan guy's great, but Bill Russell, he'll never be Bill Russell." And I'm saying, well, look at this guy. He's got a bunch of titles. He's zooming through the air. They said, Bill Russell did all that stuff 30 years ago. He's got 11 titles. Jordan never catch him. No one will ever catch Bill Russell. And
well, back then it was probably maybe 8 NBA teams. Teams stayed on one team, and he was probably only the only black guy.
Well,
one of few black guys during that era. So
well, you know, I've always pointed out that whenever you see these Jordan highlights, he's jumping over. Let's just go through them. He's jumping over Craig Elo, who everyone says, you know, in Jordan's defense, that he was one of the best defenders in the league. Craig Elo, he looked like my plumber. Okay, that's who Craig Elo looked like. He's dunking on Dan Marley. Okay. Thunder Dan, who was, you know, a good player. And
I mean, if you were a scrub, you would not have a nickname Thunder Dan. I mean, he was an okay player, so don't minimize his contribution.
But they're they say the rough '80s. Jordan played in the rough era, and then you go back and look at a picture of Bill Laimbeer. He looks like my alcoholic neighbor.
Hey, Bill Laimbeer, man, he'll bust your ass off.
I don't want to hear it. And then I throw up a picture of Joel Embiid, and it's like, this guy looks like he was formed out of the lab. He's like the Captain America of basketball. These guys come out, they're huge. Their shoulders are as wide as the door. And then you're going to throw, Bill Laimbeer's the bad boy that Jordan had to get through.
I mean, Embiid, he's a 7'1" Zion Williamson. He needs to lose weight too, so.
Okay, all right. I mean, I hear it, but he's intimidating. You know, they're like, well, you can't touch him. I look up Embiid collisions. These guys colliding all over the court. And look at now you got Giannis headbutting people. So I don't want to hear that the league was softer or whatever. But anyway, I'm glad you brought up that in the Bill Russell era, that there was a lot of weak teams out there. Yeah. Because in the Michael Jordan era, as a matter of fact, there was all those expansion teams. And Jordan
Wait, all those suspension teams? Okay, which ones?
Charlotte, Memphis. Well, it was Vancouver, right?
Yeah.
What else do I got? There's
Toronto.
Yep. And what was the other one? There's 4.
Orlando.
There might have been 6.
Orlando.
Right.
Yeah.
Jordan's record against those teams. What do you think would be an impressive record? They played 88 games. What do you think a good record would be?
I think you said 88 games played.
He played 88 games in his time against those expansion teams.
I would say 80-8.
Yeah, it was 77-11.
Okay.
So he absolutely murdered scrubs. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, you know, Jordan's murdering scrubs. Okay. You know, the NBA was a newer league. They needed a star. I always had this. Listen, the NBA is a little crooked. I think it's, you know, is it as crooked as that pass interference call against New Orleans? It's that crooked.
That was heinous. Yeah.
It's that crooked. The NBA is definitely crooked, and they needed a star. Magic had AIDS. You could tell Isaiah Thomas got Me Too'd. All the guys from that era had a lot of baggage, and they needed someone to carry the torch. And Jordan is their
wait. Isaiah, he got Me Too when he was president of the Knicks.
I'm just saying, those characteristics were all there. Okay.
Oh, okay.
You're not an outstanding citizen, and then next day you wake up and get Me Too'd. I'm sure if you would get Me Too'd, there was a trail there.
Okay, I got you. I see what you're saying.
just like Pippen. They were like, I think they would have liked to have Pippen as the face of the NBA there for a little bit, but they're like, hey, this guy is spending money he doesn't have, buying jets, flying all over. Like, he's not our guy. And listen, there's a lot of speculation, and you guys there in the Chicagoland area would probably tell me that Jordan was gambling pretty heavily on himself, and that's why he had to sit out those 2 years. That is
You know what? That was brought up in the Last Dance documentary, and I mean that was always an urban legend, and he finally, addressed it. Even David Stern, God rest his soul. He actually commented about the situation. I mean, no, he wasn't suspended because of gambling. Michael would just wear out.
No one's going to tell you
out.
that. Okay, I don't think anyone's going to give you the truth of that. Don't forget, Jordan is $1 billion empire now, and if that gets out, he's Pete Rose. And
they would never get rid of Michael. Never.
Okay, they come out right now and they have Jordan on tape, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm betting on the Bulls." Nike's gonna drop them. It's gonna be awful. It'd be the biggest story of ever.
Now, allegedly, I kind of feel the same way about LeBron and PED use because Chris Paul, he fought to get HGH testing, omitted with the Player Association. So I think that once he went back to Cleveland, remember he was like super skinny, he could barely jump, and then he took that 2-week vacation to Miami. Then he came back. He was literally like a monster once he came back.
Listen, and he grew his hair back, which is really what I really want to know how he did it. That's really the thing. Yes, LeBron has benefited from the best sports. He
has a biochemist on his payroll right now.
Sure, and I would too if I was him, because I guarantee you, in the NBA, all that money, everybody's got one.
Well, under the table, but I mean, But my thing is, what type of supplements is he giving them? What type of needles is he giving them, allegedly?
Yeah, I'm sure but you know what? He's never been caught, okay? So he's never been caught, and so you can only speculate so far. Right. And I'm not saying we can't say Jordan isn't the greatest player because he was gambling. I'm saying there's speculation, just like I would speculate LeBron. But, it's good for the NBA. Really, that stuff is side chatter. When it happened to baseball, I really lost faith in baseball, and I really just didn't care about. I wasn't hearing about the players anymore. I was hearing about the drugs they were taking more than I was hearing about the home runs or the strikeouts.
Right.
It ruined the game. And I thought, I'm going to get back into baseball this year, and then look what happened.
Yeah.
So as far as LeBron doing that, but I think all the NBA is doing it. The players, you know what? I actually looked this up because I thought I was going to get you on a point here. I was going to tell you that the NBA is bigger, stronger, faster now. And it actually isn't. Since 1985, the average height's right around 6'9". And actually, since 2015, the average height's going down because of shooters.
Right. I mean, Golden State and Dallas Mavericks, they kind of changed that as far as the way that they revolved the offenses like around outside shooting. So
the picture that I wanted to paint was that Jordan was 6'6" over a bunch of other guys who the average height in the NBA was 6'4", and he's out there.
No.
That just isn't a narrative that you can do. You can't.
Back in Jordan's era, it was trees in the paint waiting for him every time he drove to the rim. Right now, everything is open.
Right. So, and I looked into that, and the moving of the 3-point line. Did they move it in the 2 years that he was gone? It's so close. It's right.
They moved it in. They moved it
right back. They tried it for a year or two, and then they moved it right back.
Yep.
I would say that they were trying to help Jordan out with that kind of thing.
He was already gone.
Well, from what? From he was out of the league, but he came back.
Right. Then they eventually put it back.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They move it in when Jordan goes out for 2 years, try to boost up scoring, and then all of a sudden they said, you know what, let's move it back out so that Jordan has more time. These players got to spread out a little bit more to cover that three. But no one was really shooting threes back then anyway. It wasn't a strong analogy I could make, other than the fact that LeBron is a better three-point shooter than Jordan, and LeBron did develop that skill.
It's not that much, though. I mean, Michael's
not that much. Statistically, it's not. No.
Right.
You're right.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. I'll concede that.
Okay.
Okay, let's see what else I have here. Okay, so the era. Let's talk about the era one more time now.
Okay.
So they're going to say that there was, more men back then. Just like you said, there was trees in the paint. They were colliding.
Yeah.
LeBron, nobody wants to take that hit. He's a monster.
Yeah,
He's
more like a tight end playing basketball.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so when you see Jordan go in and you see the Ewings and you see the Olajuwons and you see the Mutombos, okay?
You see Charles Oakley, you see Lambeer, you see Rick Mahorn, you see Kevin McHale. I mean, it was some rough riders back then, man. Waiting for them.
But the LeBron's era, which is stretched now, 17 years, those same big guys are in there. It's just they don't want to take that hit from LeBron. They do. No one wants to take that hit from LeBron. Not even Shaq in his old years. When Shaq was hanging on, he was getting out of the way.
Yeah,
Dwight Howard gets out of the way. Some of the biggest, toughest guys in the game don't want to take. LeBron is big, he's fast, and they don't want to take that shoulder. He leads with the shoulder. I don't think it's fair. It does. Certain parts of LeBron's games look very savage. It doesn't have that finesse that Jordan has to it.
Right. Well, just to give Dwight Howard credit, he was the last Eastern Conference team to knock out LeBron from the playoffs.
With the Magic? Is that what he was on, that one? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Dwight Howard was a force, and I think that's why he's a veteran. I think that's why Kobe wanted him. Kobe had him for a little bit, and Kobe wanted to keep him, but he fled for the money because he wasn't playing like he should. That guy's career is all over the place. It's like you never know what you're going to get with that guy. And I tell you what, if Dwight Howard puts together, 3/4 of what his best year was this year for the Lakers in the playoffs, they're going to win because Dwight Howard's that good.
No. Well, he's not the same player, but he can be good in spurts, but he's not that same player though.
No, but you're going to need him against these big guys down the stretch. You're going to need him to do something against Paul George. You're going to need him. Some of these guys are going to be slashing. I really think guard play, especially here coming out of the bubble where I don't think people are shooting as good as they used to. I think they're going to be
scoring is up big time. Yeah, in this bubble.
Scoring's up. I don't think shooting. I don't think it's 3-pointers.
No, it's just the Lakers are not hitting them. Everybody else is hitting them.
Well, who was hitting them? Who was hitting them? Phoenix, Devin Booker.
These
guys like that. Yeah.
Yes. Dame Dolla's hitting them. TJ Warren's hitting them.
TJ Warren can hit him. He can hit him, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But I was watching the Pelicans, and JJ Redick couldn't hit him.
Well,
Lonzo wasn't hitting him.
That's why they're out of the playoffs. They didn't make the playoffs.
The Jazz was hitting them. Bogdanovich isn't hitting them. I think it's going to be more of a guard play. I think it's going to be easy. It's going to be more fundamental driving in the hoop basketball, and I think Dwight Howard's got to step up. But I think
Donovan scored 50 points today, but they lost.
Yeah, Donovan said I was surprised that was a Jazz playoff record. The Jazz had the lead in the third quarter. That's just I don't know. They've had some problems. The Jazz.
Okay.
I'm losing hope. If someone puts up 135 points to you and you have Rudy Gobert out there, Rudy Gobert should go get Corona again. All right? It's not right. No one should put 135 on the Jazz for the defensive player of the year. Nobody.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I give you that point.
I don't think anybody ever put 135 on the Bulls.
Unless it was overtime, but yeah, I mean, back in Jordan's day, scores was like in the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah, it was 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
I remember Phoenix was the one that really started stepping it up. I forget what that squad was. Steve Nash? Sons,
Steve Nash, Stoudemire, Boris Diaw, Sean Marion.
Yeah, those guys.
Leandro Barbosa. Yeah. Joe Johnson was even there.
Joe Johnson's good, man. He's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so listen, we're going to talk about I think we hit most of my major points. But I tell you what, the Jordan – okay, so going back just real quick, a lot of getting to those title games is a function of how the playoff works too. Let's not forget about that. Jordan,
as far as the format?
Yeah, the format. Like they were saying that, it's the easiest path to the playoffs. And LeBron definitely, benefited from that too, playing in the East all those years with really no one around him. But Jordan benefited from it too. And a lot of those teams out West, I think, during the Jordan era were a lot better than – well, they would have gave him some more competition is what I think.
Wait. Okay. So back in Jordan's day, those teams wasn't as good as the West is today.
Well, Jordan used to bang it out with just the Knicks and the Pacers. Okay, those are his two people. There was the Cavaliers. He lost to a bunch. He lost to the Pistons a bunch of times. He lost to the Cavs a couple times. Then he started beating up on the Knicks, and he started beating up on the Pacers. And that wasn't. But it was like one or the other. I think the Pacers and the Knicks both took him to 7 games in the stretch.
Right. But during Michael's championship runs, he is the only player to have beaten more 60 win teams than any other player.
Okay, and I'm glad that you mentioned that because there's a stat in here that says, I forget what it is exactly, but it says that LeBron has actually went against something like 30, has went against a Hall of Famer in his playoffs like 30 times.
Okay.
That's what it is. And LeBron only 9. I mean, LeBron's won it 30 times and Jordan only 9.
So Jordan went against 9 Hall of Famers and
LeBron. Yes, 9 times. Like you could go against the same I think that maybe 9 Hall of Famers and then LeBron has 30. I wrote the stat down. It was a very interesting one. I saw that on there. Lowered the bar for the Hall of Fame. And I would think no. I don't think so. I don't think the bar has been lowered. Gosh, I'm trying to find out where. Oh, right here. No. Well, there was one I got right here. Playoff triple doubles. LeBron has 23. Jordan has 2. We won't talk about that. You probably don't want to talk about triple doubles.
Right. Remember, he runs the LeBron James system. He keeps the ball in his hands. Michael works within the framework of a system, so he's not going to have those assists. He's not going to be in the paint all the time getting rebounds.
And I also wonder about that too. I also wonder about the air of the game, right? Mm-hmm. Because, like, when you think about running backs, right? You wouldn't say that a running back who doesn't who's the best running back of all time? You're going to say Walter Payton, right?
No. I would probably say Barry Sanders.
Okay, no titles. No titles, right?
But football is different. I mean, you're not really judged on Super Bowls like that. It's as far as like being coined like the best player ever. I mean, it doesn't work that way as far as football.
Okay, but I think the argument can be drawn a parallel though is that Barry Sanders, although he has the ball in his hand, he's not on the ball. He's not on the ball. So nowadays, the best player on your team is going to have the ball in their hands. That's how it is throughout the NBA. They're finding ways to keep the ball in the best player's hands more often.
Right.
You got Harden, you got Westbrook, you
right.
got Steph.
Right.
In Jordan's era, it was not like that. It was usually a slough bringing the ball up the court and pitching it to a big man or a shooting guard.
John Paxson, Mark Price, sloughs.
All right. It was, and a lot of times out in Phoenix, it was Jeff Hornacek before he came down there.
Yeah.
Every time it was Mark Price. These are good players. But it's these guys bringing it up, giving it to a big man. That was the era. Yeah. Nowadays, your best player better have the ball in their hand or they're not getting that max contract. They want to see max touches.
You see, you got to keep in mind, the paradigm to win back then was to have a transcendent big man, like a Hakeem, like a Kareem.
Shaquille.
Parrish, right.
Yeah.
Right. You needed like a blue chip big man, but Michael, he won multiple championships without that paradigm.
Okay. This is a good point too.
So that's another wrinkle of why he is the greatest ever to play the game.
Okay, since we're talking a little bit about era right here, I want to talk about how the NBA was just the National Basketball Association in the Jordan era, and now here in the LeBron era, it is the World Basketball Association. We are bringing in players from all over the world now. Listen,
it was European players back in Jordan's day.
You're right. You had Manute Bol, Dikembe Mutombo, and Drazen Petrovic. That's it. You had 3 guys. You know what I mean? They brought in Tony Kukoc. They thought he was a sideshow, a freak. All right? That's it. Okay. You had a bunch of circus acts as foreign guys. And when I was looking up height in the NBA, it actually said of the foreign players, the only thing they were bringing in was 7-footers. They were flooding the market with 7-foot foreign players, and that was it. Nowadays, they're not bringing in 7-foot foreign players. I mean, yes, they're nice to have, but the NBA is a world sport now. LeBron realm of competition is much better. It's much bigger. He's got to play against the entire world. And
Who
listen,
who has the best basketball players right now?
in the world?
Yes.
Oh gosh. Well, I don't. I have no idea. Where's the Joker from? Where is he from?
Yeah. Where is he from?
Is he Lithuanian?
Maybe Turkey,
Germany?
but
Is he Germany?
I would say Turkey, maybe. But well, the answer is the U.S. We are the best basketball players. So
okay,
Michael played against
Turkey,
Michael played against the best basketball players in the world. They was mostly from America, but in this era, LeBron is playing against literally European shooters. That's all he's playing against.
Well, that's like, it's like saying, like, is baseball better now because all the Dominicans are in there? Yes. Yes.
I mean, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. Okay. You don't see these fat large. Listen, Jason Giambi isn't playing nowadays. He's not smacking 50 dingers even on the juice. Okay.
Right.
These guys, the bigger you spread your sport, the better it's going to be. It's diversity is a strength on this type of thing. And I think LeBron, one of his biggest problems is that he hasn't really embraced the foreign players, and the most successful teams have. And that's going to be Popovich and the Spurs. They love foreign players. And first of all, Kawhi is not even from this planet. All right? That's why I don't consider him American.
He's like a cyborg or something.
I don't even know where he's from. I have no idea. So that was LeBron's big mistake. Because if you would have had some more foreign shooters, it would have done a lot better. I can't name a foreign guy on LeBron's teams. Well, except for Ilgauskas.
And Varejao. Yeah, Varejao.
Varejao.
Trying to think of the Miami Heat days. Who did he have that was foreign? Can't really think of anybody. When he came back to Cleveland.
Herrera? Who was the guy on the Cavs when he was there? They had a guy, a guard. Belladonna?
Yeah, he was from Australia.
Yeah.
So he was a good player.
I mean, listen, I'm not a Ricky Rubio fan and those types of guys. A lot of those foreign guys, I think, a lot of the foreign guards, other than, Tony Parker, I was going to bring him up if you were going to start talking about titles. Tony Parker has a bunch of titles. No one's putting him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, Tony played within the system, and I mean, he was getting like a whole bunch of assists. I mean, he was going in the paint, with layups and teardrops, but I mean,
he's
definitely
that team though. He was like a throwback almost.
He was a like a tier 2 type of point guard. I wouldn't put him tier 1. He was tier 2.
Yeah,
because that offense was like an equal opportunity offense because that ball constantly moved around. So everybody had a piece of the offense.
But Tony was the one that facilitated that, really.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. He was good to go. Mm-hmm. But we're talking about. I was thinking about when you want to talk about titles. There's a lot of good players out there that don't have titles.
Now Michael kept a lot of people from winning titles, right?
He did.
In LeBron's era, everybody's eating.
Well,
everybody's eating.
Okay, well, look what he did to Durant. Okay.
and Durant got him back. Durant got 2 titles off of him.
He did. He made Durant play third fiddle, fourth fiddle.
Steph has 3 titles. Dirk has a title. You got the Celtics. They won a title.
When did they sneak one in?
Oh wait.
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah.
Oh wait, yeah.
They did sneak one in.
And then Kobe won 2.
Kobe got his.
Yeah, Kobe got 2.
Yep.
So yeah. And of course,
people got him. He has locks. He locked everybody out of the East.
Yeah, but once he went to the West, I mean, the West would just eat him alive. I mean, just to make him lose.
Took him apart.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. The Rockets still didn't get theirs, right?
Yeah. These Rockets still hasn't went over the hump, but I kind of expect them to lose in the first round against the Thunder this year.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, if anybody has the right to be mad, it's probably Westbrook. He should have went and joined the Warriors. Is really what should have happened.
No, that wasn't gonna happen. Yeah.
I love Westbrook. I love Westbrook.
Russ, he's a throwback player because he don't care about nobody. As soon as he step on that court, he don't care about anybody. So that's what I like about him.
Yeah, he's good to go. So that's it. That's pretty much what I got. And we're talking about killer instinct, this Jordan idea of this killer instinct. Oh, we'll talk about this. We'll talk about Jordan and how everybody hates him. I didn't watch The Last Dance.
You ain't watch it at all?
Listen,
you gotta watch it, man. You gotta watch it.
I don't want to get fed with that propaganda. Jordan put that thing out because LeBron right now is supposed to be in the biggest show, in the biggest stage. He's supposed to be at the Staples Center right now, all the world watching him. And Jordan is going to drop this Last Dance bullshit in the height of LeBron's prime. It's the pettiest thing I ever heard.
You know what? That was a godsend what Michael did, because since we was in a pandemic, we had nothing better to do than to look forward to Sundays and watch 2 hours worth of documentary.
Up because we were in the pandemic.
I know. I mean,
it's like Jordan can't lose on this one, but he was going to drop it right before the finals started, or right before the playoffs, I think, wasn't it?
Right. It was going to come out in June.
Yes.
There. But there was no guarantee that the Lakers were going to go to the finals anyway.
It's guaranteed. It was guaranteed. It was guaranteed.
The Clippers are their major hurdle, and I mean, I got the Clippers winning it all.
Okay, I saw some of the odds. The Lakers are still the favorite on most Vegas books. Lakers
according to Caesars, right? Caesars got them winning it, but other sports books got the Clippers. Some got the Bucks.
Some got the Bucks. So it's not like it's open and shut, but it was more open and shut at the end of the NBA play. At the end, before we went into the bubble, before we started the season, the Lakers were overwhelming favorite.
Yeah. Okay.
Now Jordan was going to do this petty shit and drop this Last Dance bullshit. It's not like he's not authorized. He's there with a laptop. They're interviewing him. It's not like the real story. This is not a. It's an autobiography. It's not a biography.
Right.
And then no one's told me. And people talk to me about it all the time. It's nothing that I didn't know. Oh, did you know Jerry Krause was an asshole? Yes, I did know that because I was paying attention back then.
Now, I mean, right. I was in high school, like doing this whole, how everything transpired back then. I mean, but just to like look back at it and like see some context behind it, I was like, oh, okay, so that's why this thing happened. So, I mean, you will learn some new things here and there. Okay. So, I mean, that's why you got to watch it. So,
all right, I'll watch it, but I understand that it's a big machine. You know, it's a big machine, and that they need Jordan to succeed. They needed Jordan to succeed. And
I mean, Jordan's dossier is done, so I mean, he don't have to do anything else. But
he's still got to sell those shoes.
Oh man, he is outselling every shoe right now. You know, triple.
Yeah, he's the best. No doubt about it. He's the best.
Yeah.
I get it. It's a cultural phenomenon. That's why he can't fail. He can't come out that he's a cheater. No one was wearing Pete Rose shoes before he got popped. Nobody was wearing. Barry Bonds didn't have a brand when he found out he was full of juice.
Mm-hmm.
You find out that Jordan's something bad about Michael Jordan, and that thing goes under. And that'd be the biggest. That would be bigger than Penn State going under.
No, okay.
It would be.
Yeah, you may got a point. Maybe.
He can't lose. So I always hate the propaganda machine, and which brings me to my final point: is that all the people that think that Jordan is the greatest player of all time, they're all hooked on this incredible drug called nostalgia. That's what they're hooked on. They're hooked on being young again and feeling that thing and being there in that time. It's like whenever you say to somebody, "Where were you during the OJ chase?" Everyone gets a smile on their face and says, "Shit, I remember where I was."
Well, okay. So I'll tell you this. I mean, what people find fascinating about that era is basically how we kind of see how much of an alpha, how much of a masculine man Michael is. I mean, these players these days are just mama's boys.
We know a lot more about him now. That's the thing too. Don't forget.
Right. I mean, they're all attention whores. They're all on Twitter and Instagram, Snapchat. I mean, they want to let the public know what they're doing all the time. I mean, like back then. I mean, even if Michael played today, he wouldn't have so much social media. I mean, even Kawhi don't even use social media.
There's a tape out there of Kawhi in the strip club. Have you seen it?
But did he put that out there?
No, they got him between the things. On his maintenance night. He was taking a night off from maintenance.
Okay. I mean, we all have maintenance nights.
I get it. Right. But I'm saying.
But you're trying to kill him for it, though.
Jordan wouldn't be this. That's what I'm saying. It's nostalgia. Jordan wouldn't be this god if there was cell phones back then, because I guarantee we'd have a Michael Jordan sex tape. I
Oh.
guarantee. You heard what they were doing. They all sat back like, I did see a clip of The Last Dance where they were talking about, they were saying one guy got mad at Mike. Mike called him out for being on drugs, or he said Mike was doing coke or something like that, and it like ended his career. I'll get back to that. But I remember, this guy's like, he had beef with Michael Jordan because of the off the field, off the court relationship.
But you don't know what player it was?
It wasn't a big name. It was a big man. It was power forward, center guy. And I remember watching a little clip because I was like, well, here it is. I finally got something on Jordan. And it wasn't really conclusive. Jordan denied it. That's the only reason I even hit my radar. But that speculation is there. Those guys, they were having parties in the hotels, and they were doing some things that would not look good on social media today.
Right. You talking about the traveling cocaine circus.
Yes.
Right.
There you go. Traveling cocaine circus.
That came out in a documentary.
Wasn't a part of, right?
He wasn't. He was a country boy from North Carolina. I mean, he went into that type of stuff.
Pretty sure they were all country boys from I don't think any of them were Tony Montana Jr.
Right.
All right, yeah. Which always brings me to the point that LeBron really has been a great ambassador to the sport, and I don't even think that's even parallel.
Yeah, like people trying to add this off the court philanthropy into the GOAT conversation, which is unfortunate because like the media wants to drive this thing home so hard. I mean, it's just nauseating. I mean, you got folks like Nick Wright and Shannon Sharp and right now Stephen A. Smith, but last year Max Kellerman, he was pretty much on that LeBron, super fan bandwagon. But yeah, like these folks like constantly just all up on this jock, man. It just nauseating, man.
I lost a lot of respect for LeBron with the China stuff. If you're gonna be for equal rights and equality, be for everybody,
Right. Right. Actually, I was gonna state that as far as how he's doing this fake social justice warrior campaign, in which he once stated he wants to be a global icon like Ali. But if Ali lived during this time, Ali would have spoke out, and he would have went on anybody's platform and debated him about it. Just like when that lady Laura Ingraham invited him to her show, and she told him to shut up and dribble. He declined. He declined to come on her show and debate and just spar ideas, but he chose not to do it because he's just a paper tiger. He doesn't do anything unless Nike allows him to do it. So he just a corporate tool. I mean, Michael, he is a corporate tool too, but like Michael even touched on during the documentary. I am not a politician. I'm a basketball player. I'm not going to speak out on social issues. I would donate behind the scenes, but I'm not going to be the face on anybody's social issue. I'm a basketball player.
And I was proud of Michael. He did actually come out and support BLM here recently. He put a bunch of money on it. It was a ton. But it was the first time that Michael took a stand, and I was thinking, wow, Michael took a stand. Look at that. Where I think
that's not the first time. That's not the
LeBron
first
was looking
time.
good for a while. LeBron was looking at, I Can't Breathe. He came out with that. That was his thing, right? He led that way, and then the NBA stepped on him and said, you can't be wearing that stuff, right? Wasn't it him with the Eric Garner stuff, which I thought was great, The NBA is a really progressive league, and I like that. I like
they're too woke. They are too woke for their own good. Because like now they can't call owners no more. They call them governors.
Yeah, I don't like that. Okay,
I mean, they're just a bunch of babies, man. I mean, these are not men today. They're just a bunch of mama's boys. And back then, that's why I appreciated Jordan more because he is a typical alpha of alphas. So that's why people resonated with him doing this documentary.
Well, I think a lot of people hated him in that documentary. Isn't that what it came out to be?
No, his former teammates probably don't like him. But as far as general fans, even fans today, this generation, they actually had a more favorable opinion about Michael after the documentary.
That's probably true.
So LeBron is losing. He is losing ground. He is losing ground. It's just the media that's like driving this narrative. Like, oh, so LeBron wins this year. Will he be up? On par with being the go-to Michael Jordan. Like every single year, they constantly move the goalposts. If he loses this year, and if he has to win next year, is he going to be the GOAT this time? I mean, come on. I mean, that ship sailed back in 2011 when he had that meltdown with Dallas.
I still think LeBron can change some opinions. I think he still probably can solidify it more. I'm giving it to him now.
This conversation is a waste of everyone's time, but it's fun to have. It's fun. It's fun. But the ship sailed in 2011, almost 10 years ago. I'm tired of it.
When he came back from 3-1, he came out the grave like the Undertaker. All right.
Well, that was the stimulus package that the NBA granted to him by suspending Draymond, and then Bogut got hurt, and yeah.
Slow it down. It's not like Draymond Green. That was his first time ever getting suspended.
Yeah, but you don't suspend no one of that magnitude. It's as far as in the finals. I mean, suspend him like the following season, but don't suspend him for the NBA finals. Come on, this is
you guys. Yeah, you suspend him. Doesn't matter. NBA is the NBA. Nah. Anyway, he would have won with LeBron. He would have won with Green in there anyway.
No. Golden State had so much momentum going into Game 5, and both Kyrie and Bron had huge games. I think they both scored 40 points that game.
Well, then Kyrie won that game, but
right. So then Game 6, they just pretty much protected home court, and then Game 7 was a pick'em. So that's why they was able to kind of come back for 3-1.
It was incredible. Okay,
I mean, it was a great game.
Yeah,
it was a great game. So yeah, I mean, I definitely give him credit for it, but he still lost 6 finals, and I mean, even during the Miami days, I mean, it was a failure because they have supposed to have won at least 5 championships, but what, 2 out of 4?
They got 2 out of 4.
Yeah. I mean,
they got the one ripped off from Dallas, and then they walked into who's the other one? The Spurs.
Yeah. 2014. They actually lost by like a record margin.
Yeah.
2014.
They didn't see the Spurs coming. They just didn't.
Yeah, man.
You need a team. That's why you don't have Scottie Pippen. I mean, Dwayne Wade isn't Scottie Pippen.
Dwayne Wade is better than Scottie Pippen.
No, he is not. Come on.
Yeah.
Dwayne Wade is not Scottie Pippen. No.
I mean, Dwayne Wade won a championship as an alpha.
With Pat Riley.
All right, with Pat Riley and Shaq was on the team too. Yeah. But D Wade, he was the alpha, right? Have Scottie Pippen ever won a championship as an alpha?
Was he not the MVP the year that Jordan was out?
Also MVP.
I'll count it. I'll count it. I mean, you got to have a squad, and
yeah. I mean, Bron had a super duper squad because that was unprecedented to come together with 3 guys in the same draft class, literally like the first 5 picks. Bron was number 1.
Yep.
Bosh was 4. Wade was 5. That was unprecedented. What happened back then. So.
And Bosh is a bum. He didn't know the whole time he was playing with a bad heart. Poor LeBron. If he would have known that, he would have went to another team.
Well, I mean, listen, just be grateful that he got 2 rings out of 4 during those Miami days. So I just call it a day.
Bosh was playing with no heart before we found out he had a bad heart. Okay,
you said no heart.
Yeah, he was playing with no heart. And then we found out he had a bad heart, and we all said, oh, yeah, that makes sense. That's why LeBron got robbed. He went to South Beach because he was going to be with the next Alonzo Mourning or the next even Stoudemire. That's who we thought he was getting.
Right.
What he got was Dwight Howard in an off year. That's what he got out of Bosh.
Yeah, he turned Bosh into like a 3-point shooter. So, and that was his game with the Raptors. So, but, yeah, he kind of nullified literally his like career arc. So.
Well, I tell you what, if the Clippers go this year and Kawhi gets another one, 3 championships with 3 teams is really impressive.
Yeah, right. With 2. Yeah. Okay. Right. Exactly. I think he'll be the first player to do it. Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's probably some scrub out there. Like Robert Horry did it with?
No, as far as having Finals MVP.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Horry has 7, but he's not the GOAT.
He has 7 across how many different teams?
3.
3 teams, yeah.
Yeah, Spurs, Rockets, and Lakers. Yeah. But yeah, man. Hey, this was a great conversation, and I mean, you haven't convinced me why LeBron is the GOAT, but
I gave you something to think about. Are you kidding me? That's good stuff.
You haven't given me anything.
Well, hey, if you're coming in to defend LeBron against Michael Jordan, you gotta keep doggy paddling. Like listen, my dog's still in the fight. Your guy's a sex tape's gonna come out. It's gonna be him with cocaine, and it's gonna be him with girls, and it's gonna be him paying off David Stern and every other damn person. It's gonna come out. My guy's clean.
Yeah, you only wish, man. Hey, man. Hey, if they make it to the finals, we could have this conversation again just to kind of reiterate, like, hey, are you sure he's the GOAT? Because
I will come back.
Because one last time, if he's the GOAT, he's going to win this final. So I will give you one more time to make your case. But they have to make it to the finals, though.
Okay. All right. It's going to be tough.
Cool, man.
He's going against the greatest players ever right now at the highlight of the sport. He's going against basically the Avengers. He's like one guy going against the Avengers. That's how it is.
So what? AD is chopped liver?
AD's like Ant-Man.
No.
But he is. He's like Ant-Man.
AD is more like, damn. What adventure can I compare him to?
I'll tell you what, AD was much better with Drew Holiday, and I think that's what you're seeing. I think you'll see Drew Holiday get a huge deal. They'll stick him with Zion because Drew Holiday makes everybody better.
Yeah.
And I think he was actually better with Drew Holiday, and it was because he was kind of almost like a quiet. It was very soft how they were getting the job done. You'd go to those games, you'd watch them. And you'd be like, look up at the thing and be like, damn, AD had 35 and it didn't happen.
Hey, right. Because also he had playoff Rondo on his team too.
I love playoff Rondo.
Remember, they were shutting down those elite guards. What's this, 2 years ago? They was in the playoffs. Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah. They had it. They had a good run, but unfortunately, Golden State just took them out. So
the Lakers don't have that guy this year. They don't have a guy that's gonna softly get AD into the game. They're going to put the ball in AD's hands and they're going to say, score.
All right.
He's not that guy.
Well, I mean, he is a top 5 player. So, but hey, LeBron has no excuses. So they are the favorites. They are the favorites to win. So I don't want to hear this.
What about LeBron? That'll be 3 championships in 3 towns for LeBron.
Yeah, but he still don't have more than Michael. So.
Michael does it in 1 town. You know how tough it is to move. Look at you, Rob. You never moved. I move all over the damn place. I still got boxes over here in the back. I've been here 5 years. They haven't packed yet.
Oh, man. Moving sucks, man.
Moving sucks.
It's so inconvenient. So, but yeah, man, I'm finna head off to bed. I got a day shift in the morning. Wonderful, hey, man. Hey, thanks for having us, man. I appreciate it. But yeah, we'll definitely schedule a time prior to the finals and talk about some more LeBron GOAT stuff. So.
And what is this now? You can send me to a link to the show here. I want to hear the past episode, see how I did.
Cool. All right. Well, tomorrow during the day shift, I'll go ahead and do all the editing and stuff, and then I'll send a link to it. So.
I got nothing to do. I didn't swear for you. How about that? Put it on.
Hey, you good, man? All right, man. Take it easy. All right, take it easy. Thanks. Later.